Season 1, Episode 2, and tonight we are live on location here in Texarkana. We've got a couple guests with us lined up for tonight, but we appreciate you for tuning in. I'm Brian Bolt, Garrett Camp, and then right here in the middle we've got Mark Pickard from Cade's Kids Foundation, and so we'll get into that here in just a second. But Mark, we appreciate you for taking the time, bringing your wife over, and just spending a little time on Tuesday to talk with us.
It's good to be here. Sorry I had to bring her, but we'll get through it.
Well, we found out a lot off camera so far. We've got some kind of farm we may hit on later on. What's it called again?
Bless Your Heart Farms.
Bless Your Heart Farms.
It.
Okay. Is there a Facebook page for it?
No, and there won't be.
Be on the lookout for that. Bless Your Heart Farms. There may be a Facebook page coming up. But look, let's hop right into it. We talked about just a few seconds ago Cade's Kids Foundation. Tell us what it is, how it all started, and let's just go from there.
So Cade's Kids Foundation was founded about a year ago. We had a buddy, Cade Strickland. Brian knows him real well, and Garrett too. 30 years old, got COVID, and passed away because of it. And Cade never had a chance to have kids of his own. Loved taking kids. He took my kids, which they were young. My oldest was 7 when he passed away, but he'd take them in the outdoors, always had them. So one day I was just kind of sitting around feeling sorry for myself and thought, man, something good could come out of something tragic. So Cade's Kids Foundation was the brainchild. And we just got our 501c3 paperwork this week. So really going to get the ball rolling. But our goal is to get kids involved in the outdoors, whether it be underprivileged, special needs, kids who are just going through a rough patch, just get them on hunting trips. So far, back in the spring, we did a guided Rio turkey trip out in Texas. We've done a crappie trip. We have a deer hunting trip and a guided duck hunting trip in Stuttgart coming up. That's just a few of the things that we have rolling coming down the pathway at us.
Yeah, and so you talked about, of course, him tragically passing away, but it all goes back to the love that he had for kids. And like you said, we all three know him, but that was evident. He was one of those guys that everybody loved to be around, but he really, really had a passion for kids. And that's kind of, the origin of all of this.
That's right.
Right. And the other thing, just from our perspective, that's one of the most important things. I was fortunate enough to grow up hunting, duck hunt, deer hunt, squirrel hunt. I was fortunate to grow up doing all those things. And so for y'all to be giving kids the chance that maybe didn't have a chance that I had to get that opportunity to hunt and to carry on Cade's legacy, I think that's really cool.
And not only, you talked about getting your, paperwork in. You threw out some numbers and letters. I don't know what all of it is, but you just didn't start right now. This has been going on for
a year.
A while.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so this is not something that they're just starting now that they've had the paperwork going on. They've been doing some stuff. You, I think, packed a boat for, was it school supplies?
We did a school supply drive back in August, and that was a success. We sell merchandise. I think Brian's got a shirt there. That's one of the ways we raise money. We do a big gun raffle in the spring and a crawfish bowl. We do a 10-gun in 10 days giveaway just to raise money, getting it going. Got some exciting things coming. Next spring, we're looking at teaming up with Arkansas Game and Fish and doing kind of a hunter's ed that morning, letting kids get the chance to handle guns and kind of get a familiarity with it.
Yeah, and so, us guys that have been hunting our whole lives, had dads or uncles or whoever, grandpas that take us out in the outdoors, you don't realize how big of an impact that makes on kids. And then, like you said, people look over that kind of stuff. Getting with the Game and Fish, having some classes on just gun safety, or I remember when I was young, Arkansas Game and Fish putting on green wing stuff where they taught you how to blow a duck call, and they you got to shoot skeet and all of those things that we forget how young we were when we were taught that and how essential it was to us being avid outdoorsmen now. But that's really where it all starts, and that's kind of what you guys want to do.
The kids are, it's no secret, kids are the future to everything we have in this country, and you got to give them a good base to start with. Not all kids have the same playing field, and our job is to try to level that playing field and be a blessing along the way to somebody who might not have an opportunity otherwise.
And one of the, I guess, founding parts of us deciding to do this show, I know we were talking off camera of how it all came about, but you know, when Garrett and I talked about what we wanted to accomplish out of this show, it wasn't these big goals that everyone, you know, kind of thinks about when you want to do something like this. It was more about getting kids involved and talking about conservation and teaching the right way to be an outdoorsman. And, you know, it's the outdoors and hunting in general has gotten so flashy and so, tons of money and things involved in it. But when we bring it back down to the smallest part, you know, it is all about getting those kids out, because without them and teaching them the right way, I mean, it's going to end.
Well, the other thing about it is, too, like the area that we live in is an area that is somewhat overlooked in outdoors, but there's outdoorsmen everywhere. It's like everybody hunts in this area. And, just being able to get kids involved the way that y'all are is it's awesome.
Yeah, and talking about the shirt, I want everybody to see the shirt, because you got different shirts, not just
That's right.
one. You know, we've only got one shirt, but
No, there's several over there behind the scenes.
but this one it's got the foundation logo on the front, and then this is kind of your dove.
Yeah,
hunting
this was a shirt we come out with in dove
So
season.
if you could see here on the back, it says bird with an exclamation mark, and it says Dove 22. So I guess this was your dove hunting shirt
That's
this
right.
year. And so I don't know if we've mentioned it, yet or not, but you do a big dove hunt every year.
We do. This year, dove season's kind of like the Wild West. That's when everybody just likes to cut loose. We geared more towards veterans this year. I had a buddy from Bradley, and he had a buddy from south of Shreveport that called him on somewhere to hunt. So that was a good intro into being able to do that. And also, my nephew who lives here in Texarkana, never been hunting. We got him out there. He killed his first bird with the first shot. So
Yeah, and
real
speaking of
exciting
him,
times.
he was our picture of the week
That's right,
last week.
last
And
week.
so if you're just tuning in or you didn't see our first episode, we encourage you to send in your pictures, especially of kids. We want to see adults kill things and harvest game out in the field, but we love to get those pictures of kids, and we're lucky enough again this week to have another picture with a kid. But last week we had your nephew on there, and he killed his first bird and his first shot.
that's right, one shot.
First
Yeah.
shot, huh?
So go back to episode 1. You can see that picture on there, and we've got it on our Facebook and our YouTube. And so make sure you go and check that out. And speaking of kids, we've got another kid this week. Our picture of the week being sent in over around Lafayette County again. A lot of stuff going on over there. I know Garland's across the river in Miller County, but it's all over there in the same place. And so you can see on your screen, Barrett McClellan, he's 7 years old. He killed a nice buck, and Garrett knows a lot more about the story than I do. So we're going to, Garrett,
Yeah,
tell
so
everybody a
the
little about
picture
it.
you see on the screen, that's Barrett along with his grandfather and his dad, Shane. And Shane messaged me and kind of told me a little bit about the hunt. And it's a really pretty cool story. So Shane said that, him and Barrett had been working on his grandfather's property, which would have been Barrett's great-grandfather's property. All summer long, they'd been cutting and fixing and trying to get everything ready to be able to hunt this season, and Barrett really put in a lot of work. And so, they had this deer on camera. They'd gone 2 or 3 mornings and just seen some doe and enjoyed each other's company in the blind. And he said that he'd gotten a muzzleloader from his grandfather, and the kid had never shot a muzzleloader before.
That's about. Have you ever done that?
No, never been that lucky.
If you know Shane, that's something Shane would do. And
Shane's
so,
one of the luckiest people I know.
yeah.
We'll
And
get back on that here in just a minute.
So he put a light load on it to try to make it not kick so bad, and got in the blind. They'd seen a couple of doe just enjoying the morning, and this deer walks out, and Shane says he's just shaking because he just can't believe this deer has come out while they're hunting. And so, he shoulders the gun. He gets it on him. Shane tells him pull the trigger, and he drops it in its tracks. And so he said, we're just high-fiving, having a good time. And he had to explain to him later, now this may be the best deer you ever kill. So just, but it ended up scoring 141 and weighed 231 pounds.
Wow, he killed that over in
Canfield.
Canfield. That's where it was. Canfield, Arkansas. And man, it was a great buck. How big was it? Was it 10 point? What'd you say it was?
I think it was 8 point.
Okay. It was big no matter what. It looks like these ones that we have sitting up here right now. I've never gotten to kill a buck that big. And his first one with a gun he's never shot.
Right.
And drops it in his tracks.
And
Those are the
dropped
kind
it.
of stories you love.
And killed it. There's 4 generations of hunters that are involved in that. It's the great-grandfather's property. the grandfather's gone. He's with his dad, and he kills the deer.
Yeah. Those are the kind of stories we need to get out
That's
there.
what
for
it's
sure.
all about.
Yep. And so, of course, we are here with Mark Pickard talking about Cade's Kids Foundation, all over the place, trying to get. I mean, you and your wife. There's just so much going on that we don't have. I know we
is
don't
a
have
lot
time to
going on.
talk about, but fundraisers. You did something over in Louisville not long ago, didn't you? Downtown, or y'all
Yeah,
have
we-
before?
We,
What's all
participated
that?
at all the local festivals, just getting our name out, selling merchandise, just trying to raise money.
What about the there was an award or something that maybe y'all gave out over there, and it may not be through the foundation, but like with the firemen or something like that?
In Louisville, they have what they call the Fireman's Festival. It's the second Saturday in September every year, I believe. And Cade was a volunteer fireman there, so they have a firefighter readiness competition, and the award is in his name, the trophy.
Okay, good deal. And
So one more thing I wanted to hit on. So this whole thing came about because of Cade, and you and Cade were really good friends, right? Did
right.
y'all get the opportunity to hunt together, or
Well, all the time.
do you have any?
I stayed in trouble.
Yeah, Cade was a big character.
Was he?
I just want to know with these kids, if they get in on one of these trips or the things that you do, are y'all cooking and eating? Because I know Cade, it's
That boy could cook.
he could cook, but not only could he cook, there was something he could do better than cook, and that was eat. And
That's right.
he could cook and he could eat.
That's right. Yep. Yeah. Any of these trips that we do, like the crappie fishing trip we did a couple weeks ago, we put them up in lodging, paid for all their meals, went out on a guided trip. The kid was Creed Foster out of Nashville, Arkansas. He also got a 12-foot jig pole, a nice rubber telescoping net, and an auto inflatable life jacket. So just kind of set them up for future success. We give them some building blocks or some instruction and let them roll with it.
Well, good deal, good deal. So if someone wants to get involved, whether they want to give money or find out about what you're doing next, where can they find all that information at?
We have a Facebook page. It's Cade's Kids Foundation. We have Cash App and Venmo. You can get either one of those. My wife has given me instruction. 1 second.
I think she's saying if you want to nominate kids
That's
to go
right.
on
We
these
have
trips.
a couple. The way we do it is we have a Google Doc on. It's actually tied to our Facebook page. You can get on there and message us on Facebook or fill out that doc and just state the kid's name, the age, and a short, brief description of why you're nominating them. And that's how we pick which kids go.
Well, awesome. Make sure you go over to Facebook, check out their Facebook page to see what all they're doing. You can also contact them if you'd like to give some money or maybe be involved in what all of they're doing.
We're always looking for partnerships,
yeah,
ways
also-
to expand our brand.
That's awesome. And so before we get off of here, we were talking about Cade likes to eat. I think he'd like to see this. So every week we encourage people to send in their recipes from out in the field. And so this week we're going to go to the Blind Cookbook with this week's recipe, and it's going to be some backstrap tomahawk steaks. Don't those look good?
They do.
Think Cade
Those
can
look
cook those up?
delicious.
He'd try.
Those were sent in this week by Trey Reed from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Trey's got a brother that's here in Texarkana, and they do a podcast. What's the podcast called, Cam? Read, Talk, and Listen. Go over and check out their podcast. Look them up on Facebook as well. And then also the Dreaded Archer is a podcast that Trey's got out. And so go over and check that out if you want to. It is on, I'm sure, all of your platforms for podcasts and stuff. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a short break. Mark, we appreciate you for giving up some time on your
Thanks for
Tuesday
coming,
to come
Mark.
talk with us.
Thank y'all for having us.
And when we come back, we're going to have Rixie Outdoors. We're going to talk dogs. We're going to talk duck hunting. We'll be right back. Welcome back to The Blind. We are here with our next guest of the night. We've got Todd from Rixie Outdoors, and we're going to talk about some dog stands. We're going to talk a little duck hunting. We're going to talk a little bit about everything. So we appreciate you for taking time on your Tuesday night to come all the way down here from, now is it Little Rock or where?
North Little Rock.
North Little Rock.
Yes,
so that's a
sir.
little bit further.
Yeah, I got to cross the river.
We got to give you some credit for coming down here, but we appreciate you and your wife also for taking the time to come down and chat with us, because I know everybody wants to hear about your product just like they did Cade's Kids Foundation. And so why don't you start off and tell everybody a little bit about yourself and then kind of how you got started on this endeavor, and then we'll get into the product a little later.
Yeah, I've been a lifelong duck hunter, and I'm, hearing the message about Cade's Kids was so important to me because that's exactly what happened with me. My dad didn't duck hunt. I had some family friends that took me and really just allowed me the opportunity to be out in the outdoors. My dad was a coach. One of his friends was a coach, and they took me, and my dad kind of got into it for me. And that just changed everything. So being able to be in the outdoors is everything to me. So love having kids in the outdoors, and that's really special. So always wanted to get into the industry. Always dreamed about having a hunting show, probably like so many people, and doing so many of those things. But I just had an idea. Was in the middle of Biomeda. Walked in about a mile with my dog, carrying a good but really big, bulky dog stand. And man, I thought there's got to be another way. So started thinking up ideas and came up with one. And I've been lucky enough to have some really good people to help me along the way with the engineering process and production. But came out with an idea and then went through about 20 different prototypes to get to where we are. And it's about 8 pounds, and as you can see, it'll fit in a boat box. And man, it just has been a real game changer for a lot of people, particularly years like this where there's no water. We may be walking a mile on opening day to get to the hole we want to hunt in, and so that's been important to us, staying mobile and being able to access just about any spot we want on public land, which is where we chase them. So.
And it's great because if you're walking in, you don't want a lot of extra weight. You don't need the bulk. You already got decoys. You got your gun. You got your dog. You got all these things. And like for us, the way we hunt, I mean, we're in a boat a lot, and we got so much stuff all in the boat. And it's like every little piece of the boat is like we got to get everything to fit in right. So something like that is really neat. Something we look forward to using.
Yeah, one of the things we want to do with the size is keep it where it was small enough to, number one, keep under the seat of your pickup truck. I think that's huge. Right. We keep one under the seat of the truck all the time for training, but also being able to put it in the boat box. So you can throw it in the boat box and just keep it there. There's days where we may not need a dog stand. We're hunting off a levee or hunting out of a blind, but keeping one in the boat box and having it ready and accessible anytime we need it, and being able to throw it over your shoulder or clip it to your backpack and hike in, man, it's been really nice.
Well, and when we, on our first episode, when we talked with Shen about how they got their company started, most of the time it starts with a problem or a need.
Right.
And that's why we were so intrigued with your product. We met you at the Delta Waterfowl Expo in Little Rock, and we talked with you about the product, and even he and I on the ride home and after, we were like, man, we got to get one of those things, man. Those things, I mean, we just talked about it over and over. I mean, we would bring it up every few days or week, and we were just like, that's one of the best ideas we've ever seen. And we'll get into why here in a minute, but Biomeda, there's so many problems that come out of there. Products, I guess, that
Right.
come out of there
Yeah.
because, I mean, it's not real hard. I mean, hard hunting as far as, on your boat and stuff like that. But I mean, you got to do a lot of walking and you're carrying everything, and so that I can see where you come up with that idea, because we don't do that. We don't hunt there. We've never lived around that area. So most of our stuff is traveling in boats. And not doing a lot of walking. That's why we have mud motors now. But so we don't have to do so much walking. But even like I was telling you before we started the show, my dog stand, it's a pain in the rear end to try to set up, to try to keep stood up. And whether it sinks down in the mud or it
Or the
you know,
dog knocks it over.
yeah, right. And this here, you don't have those problems. And not only does it hang on a tree, but it can hang on just about any tree. So let's start there and talk about why and how you made it to where it will fit on something so small.
Yeah, so that was one of the things, because we hunt a lot of willows. We'll hunt really small trees. Sometimes late in the season, we'll get into some really small oak trees to try to get in that really tight cover where the birds seem to feel a little more comfortable. But you can see on the back plate, now I'll just open the stand up. It's really simple to use. It's got a clip here. It's actually quite a bit easier to set up if you're on a tree, but the front arm just swings into place. And then once that goes in, it's got a piece of Velcro and then 2 clips that hold it. And I'll just hold it there. But you can see the bite plate and the design of the bite plate where it is. It's got a really small radius. It's also got holes up and down the side. These are called lightning holes. They're also to cut weight. And it weighs in just right at about 8 pounds, so it's really light. But you can rehook the strap on the inside here and actually go around a tree that's only about 3 or 4 inches in radius, big enough basically to hold your dog.
Yeah.
But we've used it. It comes with a 10-foot strap, so we've used it on trees that the strap is maxed out.
Yeah.
So that was really important for us, being able to connect to just about any tree. So that's huge. And we went through, like I said, a lot of different prototypes and testing to try to get there, and definitely had some good products, but ones we weren't satisfied with because they wouldn't allow you to connect to a small tree or a big tree. And we wanted to be as versatile as possible. So.
Yeah.
So one of the coolest pictures that I saw is kind of looking at your social media and all that, and I saw a picture of it on a cypress knee. And I thought, man, how many dog stands can fit on a cypress knee?
Yeah, and that cypress knee was only about 3 inches around. We got some really cool pictures. That was one of the most, awesome things last year, to get a product to production and then make it and then turn around and see a guy in Mississippi or,
Right.
in the woods in Arkansas that I'm hunting in, or run into somebody at the boat ramp says, man, you're the guy that makes those Rixie dog stands.
Right.
So, that was really cool. But yeah, we've got some awesome photos, and that is one of my favorites. And we've used them on cypress knees too.
Yeah.
But it's something, like we were talking about, just being able to connect to just about any size tree and be able to get to the right height. I always like the dog stand 3 or 4 inches off the water. So in deep water, obviously you can do that with a tree dog stand where you can't with a platform stand.
Right.
So, it's definitely been a cool thing to use and have. So
Well, one of the other questions that I know when we asked, when we were standing there, you had it set up on a little tree, and we looked at it and we're like looking at each other. I wonder how much weight that thing will hold. We're trying to figure out if we can sit on it or not. And I saw a couple other hunters ask you the same question, but it'll hold, how much weight will it
it'll
hold?
hold a dog up to 120 pounds. It's weight tested way beyond
holding
that.
us.
It ain't holding us.
I mean, we've weight tested up to 280 pounds, but it is for insurance purposes not considered a seat.
Right.
It is only for dogs. But I had a friend, Jeremy Brown, he owns a kennel, and he sent me a picture the other day of a 115-pound Chessie, sitting on it and jumping off of it. So, you're not going to overload it with a dog. So that was something also really important. I have a Boykin, I also have a Lab, but you're not going to I can put both of them on the stand and it'll be just fine. So.
Yeah.
Cam, do we have any of those pictures loaded with the dogs on there? While Cam's looking for it there, it's a product that can be used. You see on your screen there's one in use of one of the dogs jumping off of it, and it's on a little bit of a bigger tree there. I really wish we need to get that. We need to get one of it on that cypress knee like you had up at your at the show and stuff. It was just really, really impressive of what you had it on. But look, while we're talking about dogs, we've got Dr. Jonathan Bradshaw, who is a sporting dog veterinarian or just a veterinarian for everything pretty much, but he specializes in sporting dogs. And every week we do what we call Dog Talk with Dr. Bradshaw. And so for just a second, we're going to take a break and we're going to hear from Dr. Bradshaw, and then we'll be right back.
Hey guys, so In this tip of the week, I wanted to talk about elbows and ways in which we can prevent elbow arthritis on down the line. A lot of times we concern ourselves more with hips, but really elbows are just as crucial. It's one of those spots in dogs that as they get older, they tend to form arthritis in and have injury in that we oftentimes have a difficult time diagnosing exactly what it is. So one of the tips that I have whenever you take your dog out of the kennel, especially older dogs, is to pick them up instead of allowing them to jump off of the trailer. I think a lot of times that just that repeated concussive force on their elbow will generate arthritis as they get older. So if we can limit that, I think we'll be doing great, and I think you'll be helping things out on down the road.
All right, we appreciate Dr. Bradshaw for his tip each and every week. And speaking of Dr. Bradshaw, I think he uses one of these products.
Yeah,
is that right?
yeah. He ran one of our dog stands last year. Got some really cool pictures with it, and really endorsed it. And man, I really appreciate that, being an Arkansas guy. And he obviously is a dog guy and an avid duck hunter. So to have somebody like that really speak positively about our product is really cool. So
no doubt. And so, speaking of Arkansas and guys here in Arkansas, your product, of course, you developed it here in Arkansas, but every piece of it is made in Arkansas. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, we get the fabric out of Florida, but it is sewn here in Russellville by some friends of ours, and then we also have the metalwork done in North Little Rock by Jam Manufacturing, and they do the powder coat as well. So and it's constructed there. So everything is within a 80-90 mile radius of North Little Rock, and that was really important to us to keep it number one, made in America, but also to make it in Arkansas, and keep it as much of it local as we can.
Right.
We're gonna have people that watch that aren't in Arkansas, or at least we hope. We hope we got a lot of people that watch it, but it's a kind of a little pride thing when you can buy a product with us being Arkansas duck hunters that's made in Arkansas. The owners in Arkansas, it's manufactured in Arkansas. A little bit of pride that goes behind that too. So even if you're not sure about the product, buy it just because it's made here in Arkansas.
Yeah, it really is. I know we all talk about American made and locally made, but it really is important getting into this business to me to keep that money in the U.S. and in Arkansas as much as we can. And that was one of the goals we had when we started, and we've been lucky enough to keep that going. So obviously there are cheaper ways to make products, but I don't think you'll find a better made product out there. And that's testament to the workmanship of people here in Arkansas.
Yeah.
Right. That's something I can appreciate, and something that I feel like it's not done a whole lot anymore. Everybody's looking at their bottom dollar and, how can I cut costs and keep things, but to be able to keep it local, I mean, it's really cool. It speaks a lot of y'all.
I appreciate that.
Well, look, like we had Dr. Bradshaw a part of the show, each and every week we got the Arkansas Game and Fish that is a part of the show. And so we're going to break for just a second. We're going to have our Arkansas Game and Fish tip of the week. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about some duck hunting.
Hey y'all, this is Wildlife Officer Tanner Mills, Arkansas Game and Fish down in Lafayette County. Youth season's about to kick off November 5th and 6th. I'm hoping everybody's excited for that. As far as youth go, they need to have free customer ID card or free customer ID. You can get that from the website, from agfc.com. If they haven't had their hunter's education, make sure they're supervised by an adult at least 21 years or older. Youth ages 6 to 15 are allowed to hunt during the special modern gun hunt for the youth. Make sure you got your orange cap, orange vest, or chartreuse. Buck restrictions don't apply for use, but the zone bag limits do apply. Anyone that's pursuing to go bow hunting also during the special youth modern gun hunt need to have on their safety orange cap and vest also. Hope everybody's had a good season so far. I wish everybody the best, and thank y'all for y'all's time. Everybody be safe, and hope y'all get a big one. Thanks.
We're back here on the blind with Todd from, well, I guess the owner, not from. He is the owner of Rixey Outdoors and this dog stand system. And so before we get off of talking about the dog stand a little bit and just talk some hunting, you reminded us that there is kind of an attachment that's coming along here pretty soon. So why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, so the stand already comes with a strap, and that's what you're going to get when you order one. But we're also going to sell this attachment, which is a 2-piece attachment made of 2 pieces of metal that clip together. And then it's got a hook on the end for a gear hanger where you can hang a thermos or anything else that you have. You can also hook a GoPro or something like that, but it just slides right in here. The stand is already made. All the Generation 2 stands have a peg there, and it just attaches, so you'll be able to hang gear without using an extra tree strap to hang your backpack or whatever else. So we think that's going to be a good addition. Hopefully that's going to be out in the next couple of weeks.
Cam, our camera guy and producer, he's got the camera set just perfect so we can see it all the way to the tip top. So you at home, that we were worried that you wouldn't be able to see it on our setup, but man, that is nice. Just, I mean, even whether it's a gun or a small bag or, I don't know, you can hang anything on there. But we were talking about GoPros. We like the idea of being able to mount a GoPro.
Yeah,
like
you
that.
can just get it set on here and watch your dog jump off and get some pretty neat shots of that.
Yeah, we don't have the exact specs on weight capacity and everything yet, but Billy Campbell from Dr. Duck came by at the show, and he hung his big Journey backpack that was completely full on there, and it hung pretty well. So, that's something that we're really excited about, and I think people that hunt timber and need to pack in, it's one less thing that you don't have to take in if you don't have to carry a tree strap out there with you. So
We just need it to hold enough to hold our snacks, the snack bag.
Well, I mean, the Christmas trees don't weigh too much.
Yeah, that's right. They're pretty light.
Yeah,
They're
have
pretty
those.
light until you eat them.
That's-
But yeah, man. Well, man, just an awesome product. One thing I like about it is I don't like putting stuff together. And when you came and you took it right out of the box, it was a sealed box just like you would get in the mail, and you pulled it out, and I mean within 10 seconds this thing was together. You don't have to, put screws in and try to put it together. I mean, you pull it right out of the box, it's ready to go.
we've all had those nightmare stories, right, where you get something out of the box and you get 20 pieces.
Right.
So yeah, that was something that was really important to us, and it folds up really tight anyway. So it just made sense for us to go ahead and assemble it. And have it ready to use. And that's the ease of use, honestly, is probably, the size is one of the biggest compliments that we get. People love it. But just the fact that it's so easy to use and to get tight on the tree and not wobble or move at all when your dog's on there. Those are some of the things that people really love about
Yeah,
it. So.
and not having a lot of moving parts. Even worse than getting it out of the box and not having everything you need is getting where you're hunting and you're missing a pin or just, too many moving parts, something's going to mess up.
Yeah. And so talking about dogs, you said you don't have a lab.
No, I do
right?
have a lab.
Oh, you do have a lab,
I-
but you said you got something else too.
I've got a Boykin Spaniel.
Okay. What made you get a Boykin? I'm interested.
Yeah,
in
that's
that.
a great story. I was hunting.
Your wife's over here waving me.
Yeah.
She's the reason.
I was hunting when I was probably 15 or 16 years old, and was lucky enough to go down to an old duck club down around Stuttgart called Cooper Lake, and one of the guys there had a Boykin Spaniel, and I remember watching this dog launch out of the blind. His name was Deke, and he would bring back a mallard that looked as big as him, and I thought that was the coolest thing. Well, we were married for several years, and we were looking for a new dog, and I wanted a lab, of course, and there was a little bit of contention there around the house, and my wife came to me and said, "What about this kind of dog? It's a Boykin Spaniel," and I remembered immediately Deke. And so we got a Boykin Spaniel, and we're actually on our second one, and she's got really good instincts, and she's fun to hunt with.
So do you hunt both of them?
Well, our lab is 9 months old.
Okay.
Just spent some time at the trainer. Our Boykin, we trained our Boykin, but Harley is our lab, and spent some time at the trainer this year. Got her, went to her first hunt test, did really
Cool.
well. So we're excited about her. So right now we're going to try to hunt them separately. But hopefully one of these days when they've both got some experience, we'll be able to get them both out.
Might
at the
get a
same
picture
time.
of both of them on the dog stand. Huh?
Absolutely.
That's awesome. So speaking of sporting dogs, each and every week we've got a sporting dog tip of the week from one of our local trainers here with Muddy Wing Retrievers, Nathan Sloan. And so we're going to go to him here in just a second and hear what he's got to say for this week.
Hey folks, Nathan Sloan here at Muddy Wing Retriever with your tip of the week. This week's tip's going to be picking your next hunting partner. The first tip of that would be go out and pick a puppy with some proven genetics. Whether that proven genetics come from dogs with hunting backgrounds or dogs with field trial and hunt test background. Just go out and get a puppy that's already got the genetics behind it to help make it easier.
So we appreciate Nathan Sloan with Muddy Wing Retrievers for sending in our professional dog training tip of the week each and every week. And so if you're looking for some dog training around this area or really anywhere, give Muddy Wing Retrievers a call. I've got a puppy out there myself right now. Garrett's got
we got
a
the
dog.
I
We've
got
all
the
got
brother.
puppies here. So yeah, we all understand that.
Yeah.
But if someone wants to order this product, we're going to mention it again later, but where all can they find the product?
Yeah, it's only online on our website, www.rixieoutdoors.com. That's the only place to find it right now. Being made fairly small scale here in Arkansas, we've decided to keep it all online to be able to keep the cost down. We have had quite a few retailers reach out to us. Yeah. We're not at that point yet. We're going to try to keep it online right now, so that's the best place for people to buy one. We do have about a week wait right now. They'll get there before duck season if they order them immediately, but we have really been grinding to up our production, but sales have been awesome. So we're working really hard to get out as many units as we can before duck season. So
yeah, so make sure you go over and check that out. And if you're wondering how to spell Rixie, it's on your screen right now. So don't miss out on that.
Where'd you
but go
get the
over.
name of Rixie?
Well, Rixie is a place. It's actually nobody knows about it, but it's around North Little Rock, and we grew up hunting around there when I was a kid, and
So is it like the honey hole or what? Because
It
everybody
was
knows
the
now.
Rixie
it was
honey hole.
it was some pretty good hunting back in the day, but it's we don't have access to that spot anymore. But it was one of those places that kind of was near and dear to a lot of our buddies around town, and like I said, if you're not from right there in Duck Hunting there, you probably don't know about Rixie. But that's where the name comes from. So.
That should have been one of our first questions.
That's
Because it is a
right.
different name. And I don't know why I didn't think about that.
I
Garrett,
thought it
you know,
was
he's-
your last name for the longest, and I was looking. I was like, "No, his next name. What? How do you say your last name?"
Izai.
Izai.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, man, we sure appreciate you for coming on here and talking about the dog stand and all. And so we want to make sure that everyone knows where they can find all of your social media. So tell everybody kind of where your social media is.
Yeah, we've got a couple of videos on YouTube. We haven't done a lot with that, but Instagram and Facebook are obviously good places. And we do have a TikTok that we post a lot of videos, particularly during hunting season. And that's been, I've had people from South Carolina, all over the country contact me from a video they've seen on TikTok, of all things. So we didn't have a TikTok before that, but that is somewhere you can definitely find us and find a link to our website from there. So.
Well, good deal. And so where all do you hunt? I mean, do you just hunt up there around Bayou Meta, or where all do you hunt at?
Yeah, that's a great question. Anywhere there's ducks.
Yeah, that's what every hunter says.
Primarily East Arkansas. We go as far down as the White River Refuge and as far north as up to Black River, but usually stopping at Hurricane. And anywhere we can find ducks is where we are, which are usually crowded spots. Usually means if you want to get away from people, you
gotta work a little harder.
You got to get away from people, and that's exactly where this idea came from. So yeah, pretty much all public land. We've got a few friends with some farms that we go to once or twice a year, but other than that, it's the public land grind, getting to the ramp and running a hole and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Well, man, we sure do appreciate you for making the trek down here and taking time on your Tuesday to come down and talk with us about your amazing product. Not only is it made here in Arkansas, but I mean it's made to hunt with. And you know, when we were talking with Field North with Shin, we talked about it was made. You know, our kind of motto for Shin is it's made by hunters for hunters, and I think that's exactly the same thing for your product. I mean, it's everything that was thought out. It was made for hunters and not just thrown together. And so,
yeah, you can tell when a product is made by someone who has used it.
Yeah,
and I think Shin's a perfect example of that with their products and definitely our products. You know, we had the idea for several years and went through so many prototypes before we felt comfortable bringing this to the market. We wanted to make sure it was perfect.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think having hunters that use the product that they make and endorse is huge.
Yeah. Well, man, we sure do appreciate you, and good luck this year with all of your sales. I know that it's going good for you right now. We hope that a lot of people see the show, and we want to make sure that you go over to their website and make sure you order one. And even if you're from around this area right now, go ahead and order one over the next couple of weeks because we don't have any rain coming. There's no water, so you got plenty of time to get them out to people around here.
The two things you need, you're going to need one of these dog stands and a pair of tennis shoes to get where you need to be to hunt on open day. That's for sure.
That's right. And so remind everybody again your social media platforms.
Yep. Instagram, Facebook, and that's Rixie_outdoors, and then TikTok as well. And then our website is www.rixieoutdoors.com. And it's very simple. In fact, we're getting enough web hits now where you can Google it and get to it from there. So
that's awesome. So make sure you go over and order yourself one. Duck season's getting here closer each and every day, and man, we appreciate you again for tuning in.
Yeah,
and so,
thanks for stopping by.
Make sure you go over and like them on all of their social media platforms. Also, go and like The Blind on Facebook, YouTube, and on Instagram. Well, I guess, guys, episode 2, we were going to wrap it up.
In the books.
We appreciate everybody for coming in tonight. Go over and check out Cade's Kids Foundation as well on all of their sources, Facebook, and then get with them and see if there's anything you can do to be a part of that. And so we appreciate you for tuning in tonight. We'll be back in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today on, I believe that's November the 15th, we'll be back with our 3rd episode. And so be looking on our social media platforms of who our guest will be then. And again, go out and buy you a dog stand for duck season from Rixie Outdoors. I think it's the best on the market. I mean, I may be biased a little bit, but I mean, it's
we're going to find out
it's
this year. We're going to get to try it out.
That's the only way to find out is put one to use.
That's right. Well, we appreciate all of our sponsors that make this show happen. Go over and check out all of their websites and their products. And again, we appreciate Todd for being here with us with his amazing product made here in Arkansas by hunters for hunters.
Yes, sir.
Put that on the box. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you in 2 weeks right here live from The Blind.
Okay, alright.